find a comfortable seat. Again, you can be in a chair, you can be sitting on the floor, propped up on a cushion if that feels more comfortable. But I want you to be able to sit with a tall spine and at the same time feel supported. Something beneath your feet, whether you are sitting in a chair or sitting down on the ground, your feet are touching the earth. And for this class, I want to introduce you to a little bit of stirring. So it's quite easy from any comfortable seat. I kind of end up putting my hands on my hips, but we're just going to move, hands can be on the hips or on the thighs, in one direction. So instead of doing the eyes of a clock today, we're doing kind of some clockwise and counterclockwise moves in the pelvis. You'll feel it in the low back and the sides of the back. It's not a race, so just kind of getting into feeling the body for a few moments before we start to sit down and watch our breath with more stillness. So, speaking of the breath, make sure you're breathing while you're doing your stirring. Imagining like churning butter. And then ensure you're nice and slow. Slow down to a stop. Give yourself a moment there. And then you want to go in the other direction. So now counterclockwise or just whichever direction you didn't go before. And you can really exaggerate this move or make it a little smaller depending on how your pelvis, hips, sides, low back, just depending on how this feels. This is an alternative. We'll do cat-cow tomorrow, the next day, but it's very similar as far as getting us to lubricate a little bit before we're going to sit. A few more breaths, a few more circles, and then I want you to slow down and come back to center. Sitting upright, tall spine, belly up and in if you can, and maintain your breath. Feel how it feels to have steadied yourself, stopped yourself after such fluid movement. And then to encourage that bringing everything back in and rooting down, let's put our hands in prayer pose. Prayer pose called Anjali Mudra. And in this version of prayer, we're going to use this to lubricate our wrists a bit. All of us use our hands a lot between technology, various jobs, various roles that we play throughout the day. So what we're going to do is really emphasize pushing the palms together. So the elbows are going out and you're kind of pushing and squeezing. So I feel quite a bit in my hands. I can feel a little bit in the wrist, even my chest. Find a few breaths. It's very centering to have the palms pressed together, two sides of the body, two sides of the brain. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, just soften a little bit more, let your shoulders relax. And then we're going to soften the prayer. So bring your prayer out. It's a much softer version, a little more loosey-goosey. Maybe even move your shoulders one at a time or together. And then we're going to do circles. You just have to keep trying it. So you'll take your prayer hands and you're rolling on the knuckles. And again, this is in one direction. You might hear a little snap, crackle, pop of the wrists. All right? It need not be fast. This isn't the time to start speeding things up. We want to get ready to sit. So start with your prayer. You twist so that the backs of the hands are together, and then you come back up. If you can't get it, just do something that seems similar so that you can feel, if it's driving you nuts, you could just do this. I just find it a little more fun to do it this way. And then reverse. That might throw you for a loop, makes your brain work. And again, if you weren't able or aren't able to do this side, just making sure that the wrists are getting some movement, some lubrication. My wrists are actually getting a little tired, yours may too. So slow it down, come to a stop, and then you can even just use one hand to squeeze and let go of the other wrist. Notice how that feels. Good. And then place your hands down by your sides, assuming you have room on either side of you. Inhale, arms up like we did the first day. Exhale, grab one of your wrists and go over to the side. Inhale into the length of the side you're stretching. Stay on the exhale and allow yourself to soften. Check in on your face. Take another breath here, opening the sides of the body. And the next time you inhale, come all the way up. Switch which wrist you're grabbing onto. Your arms can be much more bent if you need. And then you're exhaling over to the other side. And take a couple breaths, inhaling, lengthening and expanding on the inhale, and then exhaling, softening. One more breath here, really lengthening. Don't scrunch down, lengthen both sides of the body. And next time you inhale, take that inhale all the way up and exhale the arms down. And then that's it for our warm-up. So just make sure you have yourself in a comfortable position. So if you're already uncomfortable, switch it up. Find a way that you can sit. You may be sitting on cushions, you may be sitting in your chair. And again, if you can, closing your eyes. So closing the eyes brings that attention inward. It also closes off some parts of the mind. If you are not comfortable closing your eyes, or you're listening to this in public and you don't want to close your eyes, you can stare at one spot so everything else just kind of softens, but your eyes aren't moving, remember? So if the eyes move, it makes the brain engage a little bit more. And then soften your face. If you need to do your lion's breath or palming for your hands, whatever's going to allow you to soften your face. Let your hands find a place, be it palms down for more settling and grounding, or palms up to receive whatever it is you need, even if you don't know what that is. And with soft eyes, soft cheeks, soft tongue, soft ears, soft throat, just find your breath. It's always there for you. Notice where it is that you can engage with the breath in the easiest way. So maybe it's feeling the breath in your nose. Maybe it's the belly. Just inhaling and exhaling. And let's try to even out and smooth out the breath. So it doesn't matter how your breath is naturally right now. There's nothing inherently bad or good about it. But can you now work to control the breath? Pranayama, control the breath. By evening out your inhales and your exhales so that they're of equal length and they're smooth. Check that your face is not working really hard on this meditation, this mindfulness of our breath. Soften the face. Just find the breath and let your attention stay there for a few moments. In and out through the nose if that is available to you. And every time you notice that you have been thinking of something other than the breath, just give yourself a little smile, inward or outward, and then go back to your breath. Notice the inhales. You can even say to yourself in your mind, inhale, inhaling, exhale, exhaling. Whatever keeps your mind on the breath and off all those other silly thoughts that will all be waiting for you when you're done. You don't need to think about them now. Now is a thought-free zone. And then a concept for today would be, when you notice the thoughts, just label them. Label them with something categorical, something easy like thinking or planning or remembering. But it adds another layer of mindfulness. Yes, you noticed that you were not thinking of the breath, but then what were you thinking? Where was that subconscious going? Was it worrying, planning the future? Was it remembering and remunerating about the past? Find your breath. Let it be even and smooth. And let yourself just label and then drop the thoughts. A few more moments here together. And if you are available to stay, you can stay here. You can reflect any time on your labels. Just curiosity of where your mind goes when it wanders. There's no judgment, there's no right or wrong. It's just witnessing, standing from a place where you can see what's going on inside you. To end our short time together, place your hands over your heart. They can be back in that Anjali Mudra, prayer pose, or they can be flat against the heart space, as I like to do. Thank yourself again for practicing, for sitting. Thank your body for all it does. Thank your breath for keeping you going when you are not being mindful of it. And thank you. Until next time.